What's up guys, John Collins with Risen Holster Co. Quick little tooltip video fun fact for you today. We're going to look at how we install one of these things. This is a modwing, something that we offer on a handful of our different holsters. It's also something that you can add on to a holster down the road if you'd like to. You can buy them yourselves or buy them from us and then add them to your holster. But we've been getting quite a few people asking, how do you install these things? Or I took this thing off to mess with my holster and now I can't figure out how to get it back on. So I'm gonna go over that today. I'm gonna show you guys how you would install one of these straight out of the package and onto a holster that's never had one on before. You can use this kind of as a guide for installing it yourself, or if, like I said, you've taken this holster apart and you can't figure out how to put it all back together, this will help you with that as well. So check it out. All right, so I have a handful of our different holster styles here in front of me. This is our Ninja non-light bearing. This is actually one of our quick ship models that is made to be ambidextrous. So this would also apply if you guys are trying to order one of these and then switch it over to the left-hand variant, then you would follow these same steps. But we also sell the light bearing versions. So this goes on any of our light bearing holsters. Now you can see this one's made that has the claw, but what's cool about this style is we put these retention holes in the exact same spot on all of these holsters so that if you want it to down the road change from this claw over to the light bearing style of the modwing, then you can see the holes line up and you could stick this thing right on there. We use that same hole spacing on all of our holsters so that we make sure that these things can be removed or added whenever we want to. Now, to go from this for stock, we have our agent here in front of us, and so this is what it comes standard. And let's say that we want to add this to it. We're going to start basically from the very bottom and go through the whole thing. So we'll start off by taking our holster, take a Phillips screwdriver, and we're going to pull these screws out here. We're going to take this down, take our washers out. Now hang on to these, we're going to need those. And then we're going to hang on to our two slotted posts in the back. But these screws we will no longer need. Now, getting into our packet. If you buy one of these from us, you'll receive the modwing base. You'll also receive the two different height spacers. You can see that one is taller than the other. So you can adjust these for how much of pressure you want on it. You'll have your two longer screws to replace those shorter ones that we got rid of. You'll have two pass-through posts. Now these are going to be kind of hard to get to show up on the camera here. These are posts not much different than the other posts that we have, but if you look really closely, try to get it in here, you can see these have ridges on them. These are meant to kind of stick against the Kydex and prevent from the screws from being able to spin around. I'll show you kind of how that looks once we go to install them, but these are different than your other posts, so make sure you set these off to the side differently. You'll receive two of those. You'll also have the screw and nut. These both go with your modwing. That's how you attach this base to the modwing, or if you're changing out the heights. And then finally you have two of these eyelets, and then we'll show you how those go. So to start off, we're going to assemble whatever height we want of our spacer here. Now I typically like the shorter one, so we're going to stick that on there. The nut is going to go in the space in the back. Now if you want it, this is the right-handed variant, but if you were doing this left-handed, it is as simple as switching that nut to the other side. You flip this over and these things are fully ambidextrous. And then from there, the following steps will be the exact same, but left-handed setup versus the right-handed setup here. So put our spacer on, put the nut in the space in the back, use this countersunk screw that comes in the kit, and we're going to tighten that down. Now, I'm not going to put Loctite on it for the sake of the video, but these things can come loose over time, so I would suggest that you put some sort of Loctite, Vibrotite, some sort of thread locker on there to keep this from loosening up. Now from here, we're going to take our holster. We're going to start off with both of these pass-through posts. Now these are the ones with the ridges like I talked about. These are going to go on the back side of the holster here and up into these holes. So inside the holster and up into the hole there. This is going to take a little bit of practice to kind of get this done right, because it takes a little bit of dexterity to do it, but again, we're learning here. Other pass-through posts goes up in this hole. I like to use a finger to hold that in place and kind of just hold pressure so those don't fall out. Next, we're going to take our modwing. We're going to set that over top of both of those holes. We're then going to take our eyelets. What these are made for is they fit down inside of that hole, and they are the same outside diameter as this hole, but they're the same inside diameter as the little bit of the pass-through post that sticks up. And so right now, if I was to put this on without, you'll have a lot of wobble in this wing, versus if I put these in, and once they're completely tightened down, it takes a lot of that wobble out. So we're gonna set both of these in place. Now, if you were gonna be doing this on one of our Ninja non-light bearing, where you have the single claw here, or the single belt hook, I mean, then this at this point is when you would set your belt clip on place on top of these eyelets. On this case, we're not, because we have the monoblock, so we're gonna skip the belt clip. But if you were to do it with a belt clip, that would be next. After that, we are going to take our longer screws here. I would suggest starting them by hand into those pass-through posts on both. Kind of allows us to get our finger out of the way before we tighten all these down. And then we're going to take our screwdriver or our drill, and we're going to tighten these down as far as they will go. Again, this is something else where if you felt the need to put on some thread locker or Loctite, this would be a good spot to put those on. Now these we want tightened very, very tightly. And then you'll see on the back here, those pass-through posts basically sandwich this mod wing in between the screw and the Kydex there. So that way this is now permanently attached. So at this point, we don't even want to mess with the screwdriver on these screws now that this is squished on here. Now from there, we're going to spread this holster open. We're going to go back to the slotted posts that came with the holster. Put those in the back. Put our washers on, and those should sit on there by themselves. Once they're on, you can let go of them. Cram both of those in there. And then from here, I'm going to use my drill, but you would take a flat blade screwdriver, and we're going to tighten these screws onto the post from the back. For these, as you can see that I am struggling here right now, you want to just barely start these. It makes it much easier if we just start both of them very easily and then tighten them both down. And then there we go. Now it is installed. Now to set retention, once you have this thing installed, you're going to continue to just use a flat blade screwdriver, and we're going to tighten and loosen these slotted posts from the back. We don't want to mess with these, otherwise the mod wing will come loose. So we're just going to adjust our retention from the back screws here. But that is how that all assembles and goes together. So if you have any more questions, definitely feel free to reach out. If this was still a little muddy area for you and the explanation I just gave still isn't quite cutting it, then definitely, again, reach out. We'll try to maybe get a little bit more information to you, but that is how you assemble. And again, if you're doing this for a left-handed holster, the top here just goes on this other side, and we just flip that over, and the whole thing is the exact same process as far as how the screws are installed. But again, hopefully it's helpful. Appreciate you guys. God bless.